Good evening. This is the Board of Directors regular meeting. Today's Thursday, November 12th at 6 p.m. This meeting is being held remotely via Zoom. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Ms. Pania, can you please call the roll?
Yes, I'll begin with Director Gould.
Here.
And Rosali.
Here.
Wood.
Here.
Kelly.
Aye. Here,
Sailors.
excuse me.
Here.
Clark.
Present.
Jones.
Here.
White.
Here.
And President Sheets, turning it back over to you.
Okay, I'd like to turn it over to Director Gould to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you. I don't know if we're going to get, oh, look, something's happening. There we go.
There
Okay.
you go.
Thank you very much. I'll start. I pledge allegiance,
Pledge allegiance to the
flag
of the United
States of America and to the republic
for which
it stands,
One
one
nation.
nation,
Under
under
under God, indivisible,
with
with
liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you for that. This
Good
is now
job,
the
Director
Metro.
Gould.
Yes, good job. This is now the Metro Cable announcement. The open session meeting is videotaped for Cablecast on Metro Cable 14. Replay on Sunday, November 15th at 7 p.m. and Monday, November 16th at 6 p.m. on Channel 14. Webcast at www.sacmetrocable.tv. This is now the public's opportunity to discuss matters of public interest within the district's jurisdiction, including items on or not on the agenda. Madam Clerk, are there any speakers?
I didn't receive any speakers before the meeting, but Art, if you could take a moment and unmute all attendees and give them a chance to speak if they'd like.
Yep, working on it. Hello, attendees. You now have the ability to unmute yourself if there is anything you'd like to say at this time. Looks like there is no response.
Thank you. Moving on to the consent items. Are there any questions from the board members? If there's no questions, I'll entertain.
I don't have a question. I would like to make a comment. I want to express my appreciation to Chief Harms for working with me on the issue of the director's insurance.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other questions or comments?
Madam Chair, I'll move the
I'd like to
consent.
move the consent agenda.
Great. We have a first and a second. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Yes, Director Gould.
Aye.
Rosali.
Aye.
Wood.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Sailors.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
White.
Green.
Aye.
And Sheets.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, we have several action items. The first action item, California Senate Bill 1205 Compliance Report and Resolution. Looks like Fire Marshal Barsdale.
Good evening, President Sheets, directors, and Chief Harms. Give me just a moment to, hold on. So I apologize. I'm going to pull up a PowerPoint, but I need to.
You're doing just fine.
Here we go. Well, there we go. We're at the end of the presentation. Let me go back to the beginning. Okay. So tonight I'm here to provide you with a compliance report with Senate Bill 1205. This is a new reporting requirement for agencies fire agencies throughout California. So I want to give you a little bit of context, background, and then the information on our compliance with this requirement. So I'm going to go ahead and go through our current CRRD staffing levels as they relate specifically to our inspection staff. State mandated inspections, what they are and how many we have throughout the district. The background and overview of Senate Bill 1205, and then our 2019 compliance report. So to start with, community risk reduction, again, just focusing on the inspection staff. Our Deputy Fire Marshal Fields runs our day-to-day operations with the support of 3 supervising inspectors. One of the supervising inspectors is assigned to code enforcement, so they handle our inspections of existing buildings, weed abatement, and complaints. Our second supervising inspector is assigned to construction. So they work on day-to-day with plan review and the construction inspections associated with that. And then our third supervising inspector is assigned to training. Over the last several years, between rebuilding and retirement, we've focused a lot on hiring and backfilling those positions, and really focusing on the training for our new inspection staff. Most of them are coming to us without any fire experience. So we're starting from the ground up. We've developed a year-long program to get them up and going. And by the time they've completed their 12-month probation, they roll into our code enforcement and help us with the mandated inspections along with several other items. So I did want to note that we currently have 13 fire inspectors, 4 that are assigned to plan review and construction, 2 that are assigned to code enforcement, and the remainder of our inspectors are actually in their first 12 months of training. So 2 are scheduled to complete their probation at the end of December and January, and then the other 4 have just started the process. So my hat's off to our staff, because it's really, we're really reliant on the 6 full-time trained personnel to carry the heavy lift. And I can't thank them enough for the heart and dedication they have to get us through all the work that we have within the division. So with that being said, the next couple slides will give you information on what our state mandated inspections are. The Health and Safety Code requires us to complete certain inspections on an annual basis. Those inspection types are Group E occupancies, which are our schools. So within the district, we have 217 public schools, 69 private schools, and 67 daycares. The next of our mandated inspections is certain types of Group R occupancy, so residential type buildings. So there, within the district, we have 34 hotel and motels, 831 multifamily dwelling complexes, so apartments and condo type residences, and then 81 residential care facilities. And these residential care facilities are limited to the facilities that have more than 6 people in them. The last of our mandated inspections would include any high-rise buildings. The one residential high-rise that we have, we just have the one high-rise within the district, I apologize. And it is a residential occupancy. So you'll see that number included with our regular residential reporting numbers. So a little bit of background on Senate Bill 1205. Within a 3-month period between December of 2016 and March of 2017, there were 2 significant fires in the Bay Area involving incidents with residential use. There was a combination of 40 casualties between the combination of incidents, with a potential for even higher life loss. So based on this information and certain knowledge of required inspections, the Bay Area News Group launched an investigation to review compliance with these mandated inspections. What they found, they took reports for a 7-year reporting period from 11 Bay Area fire agencies. And what they found, for example, in the year 2017, was 31% of the schools went uninspected for that year, and 24% of those residential occupancies that are mandates went uninspected. So what this investigation also revealed was the fact that although the state mandates certain inspections to be completed on a yearly basis, that there was no mechanism for reporting or accountability for those inspections. So that prompted Senator Jerry Hill from the San Mateo area to sponsor legislation to fill this gap. And that's how we've now arrived with Senate Bill 1205. This requires every fire agency to report compliance with state mandated inspections to their governing authorities. That also requires that the governing authority accept receipt and acknowledge the report. The information you'll be provided is our 2019 compliance, which is our first year of reporting. So with that, our 2019 statistics for our Group E occupancies, so the schools that we have within the jurisdiction, there's 353 total inspections required, and we were able to complete 353 inspections in the 2019 calendar year. So we come in with a 100% compliance rate. Our next reported item will be the art occupancies. With that, there's 1,416 art occupancies within our jurisdiction, and we were able to complete 1,410. The 6 that we were missing were due to various reasons. Some of them were reporting glitches and inspection coding in our electronic system. So those items have been identified and mitigating measures have been put in place to ensure that we have all the inspection records on an annual basis. So with that being said, staff would recommend that the board adopt the resolution acknowledging receipt of the annual report regarding the inspection of certain schools and residential occupancies for the calendar year 2019. And I'm available to ask any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board members?
Yes, Madam Fire Marshal Barsdale, can you give us a quick example? I don't want you to go into a bunch of details because I know a lot of these things are state mandated. Some of the things that you're looking for example, in schools during the inspections, so that the public would know, you know, kind of a few of the things that we're looking for.
Yeah, we're looking to ensure that any fire sprinkler and fire alarm systems in those type of occupancies are operating and that they've been serviced, and that they report as appropriate to the monitoring companies. We're also looking for exiting, so any blocked or locked exits or items obstructing exits or exit paths. Fire extinguishers, whether the fire extinguishers are there and current service and available for use. And specifically in the schools, we're also looking for fire drill records and fire evacuation planning and how often those type of things are conducted.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Great question.
Madam Chair, I have a question. This is Director Gould.
Go ahead, Director Gould.
Chief Barsdale, for a second, can you also describe for the community, when this mandate came down, did it include any state funding at all?
There is provisions in here for state funding if it impacts you financially. However, there already legislation exists allowing for cost recovery for certain services provided by the fire department or fire agencies. So we are able to recoup costs for the majority of the work that's being completed.
Okay, Thank you very much.
Any other
Madam-
questions or?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Gay. I have my hand raised. I'll lower it in a
Your
second.
hand. Okay, go
Well,
ahead.
I don't have a question. I have a comment. I want
Yes, ma'am.
to sincerely and generously compliment Fire Marshal Barsdale and her entire team for having such an excellent compliance. And we can all feel very, very good about. It's not just checks in a box. These are life safety items that affect each and every member in our community. So thank you very much, Fire Marshal Barsdale, to you and your staff for such a terrific completion rate.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments?
Yeah, one last question. This is Director White. And,
Go ahead, Director White.
I thought assemblies were also required under this. Is that incorrect, that churches and movie theaters were not something required by 1205?
No, the Health and Safety Code does not require annual inspections of assembly type business.
Thank you.
Madam President, this is Cindy. I have a question for Chief Barsdale.
Yes, go ahead.
Exactly which state agency do you send the results of this to?
We currently are just obligated to provide it to our governing board, so the board of directors. The state fire marshal's office is looking into a reporting mechanism where we're able to report to them what our occupancies are and our inspection rate, but that's not currently in place.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the board?
I would,
right.
This is Director White. I'd just make a motion that we acknowledge and accept the report as received.
Second.
All right, we have a first and a second. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Yes, Director Gould,
Aye.
Rosali,
Aye.
Wood,
Aye.
Kelly,
Aye.
Sailors,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
White,
Aye.
and Sheets.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Great. Moving on. The second two action items will be discussed after closed session. So we'll move on to the reports. The president's report, I have nothing to report at this time. So we'll move on to the fire chief's report. Chief Harms.
Thank you, President Sheets. Good evening, directors. And first off, I just want to say thank you, Lisa, for the report. We've had a lot of conversation, obviously, over this past year. Very timely if you've been following along with Oakland and the event that happened down there with the ghost ship fire. But Lisa and her staff and being able to be out there and at about a 99% completion rate, I think is just outstanding. And as Lisa said, we just have a lot of folks that are new that are coming in. It's very exciting to see them in there. But there's such a technical side to the codes, the enforcements of the code, making sure as they're there, identifying it. They were all here this week with the new folks going door to door and looking at hardware and panic hardware and lights. And like I said, just a great job by Lisa and with Krishana over there moving that forward. So thank you, Lisa. For my report tonight, my top priority for the past couple of weeks continues to be EMS and working with the Joint Defense Council and our attorneys. We continue to have meetings with the county as we move forward. Our appeal is still on the docket for our EMS service delivery. Just no movement due to, I think, COVID or the scheduling of that to be able to move forward. I hope that in the future I have some additional information. Our last meeting was last Friday, and now we're waiting for a response back from the county. I'll just touch on a little bit. It's been the news that is out there, and it's also affected the district, which is COVID. Chief Mitchell will have a report tonight on our test number of folks that have been affected and our staffing levels in just a little bit. On the good side of things, on promotions, effective on November 6th, we had 7 members promoted to the rank of engineer. Congratulations to William Hoseman, Dustin Summerall, JP Turansky, Bud Powell, Philip Alexander, Michael DeYoung, and Matthew Miller. Each of them started their probation and are out into the field. For a reassignment on the 16th, Battalion Chief Joe Farica will be assigned to fill the Special Operations Battalion Chief assignment. That was the one that Chief Charlie Jenkins was in, and we look forward to seeing Joe here on staff. November 1st was Deputy Chief Eric Bridges' last day. I kind of looked on here, but I don't see him tuning in, so he must be gone then. He isn't tuning in tonight. Recruitments, we got a GIS specialist that is out there and a facilities tech that's both internal and external. We also are recruiting for an EMS battalion chief day assignment that is open right now. Last week or the week before, we completed the fire chief's forms. We did 8 sessions this time. All of those were on Zoom. We did 2 sessions on each shift and then 2 for the professional staff. Videotape them and also put together a list of frequently asked questions. And so in an attempt to continue communicating with the troops, we had put it out there and probably had over 25 questions that had came back. We just couldn't cover all the questions, so we put that information out there and have gotten really good feedback from that. November 28th was labor management. November 4th, or it was October 28th. On November 4th, we had our Citrus Heights 2x2. I'll let Director Gould or Director Orzali talk about that. Again, very positive call or 2x2. And again, a great relationship that we have over there. November 11th was the Cal Metro chief. And then earlier this morning, myself and the deputies, along with Chris Vestal, took just 2 truckloads of turkeys over to the KCRA turkey drop-off for Thanksgiving, and went over there this morning, and there had to be 65 turkeys that we had, that Chris Vestal had gone out and gotten, and we went over and dropped those off this morning. That ends my report, unless you all have any questions.
Is there any questions for the fire chief? Thank you, sir. Moving on, Chief Mitchell, operations report.
Thank you, President Sheets. Good evening, directors, Chief Harms, and all. I have a number of items here I'll provide you an update on. First off, this last Monday and Tuesday, our training division facilitated some live fire training for a number of our crews out at some acquired structures on Sylvan, just north of Greenback. There's a church there that has donated a number of structures from an old school that they're tearing down. So we've been able to take advantage of that opportunity and provide a number of training events, destructive live fire, that has been very, very valuable for our members. A lot of smiles, a lot of good discussion and good practice that we just can't emulate in other environments. So that's been a really, really good partnership with them. And we look forward to continuing that project. More to come here in the next couple of weeks. So you'll see some releases regarding some more live fire training up there. Secondly, as we move closer and closer, hopefully, to the rainy season here, our air operations and dozer program will begin to transition into on-call status. We're going to do that effective 0800 on Monday, November 16th. They'll transition to on-call status just based off of statistical analysis and numbers of incidents and the fire danger going down, although not eliminated. We're moving in that direction. We are, however, still in wildland fire season until we get enough precipitation to change our fuel moistures to a point where our regional partners as well as CAL FIRE are in agreement that it is time where we can change our staffing model for the winter. Fingers crossed that'll happen soon. We were also contacted recently by Supervisor Natoli's office regarding a hazard tree that is in the American River. It's created a number of incidents for us where people enjoying the river have become stuck. And so the supervisor's office reached out along with a number of other agencies in the county. Although Mother Nature won and the tree is still there, I think it was a good example of coordination throughout our county partners to be able to come together and come up with a plan to try to mitigate that. It included, let me just read it here, it included a number of our resources, the boats, the UAV program, the rescue, also included the Sacramento Sheriff's Department Marine Unit, county parks, obviously the South County Board of Supervisor District 5, Supervisor Natoli's office and his chief of staff, as well as Fish and Game. So it was a good representation of how our partnerships in the region are strong and continue to be of value to us. You may have seen last night on Channel 3 a structure fire that occurred on Grouse Court up in North Highlands. That is near Don Julio. We had it was during the news hour about 5 o'clock, and so their helicopter was flying and flew over, so they had some live coverage of what was going on there. Just wanted to let you know that the results of that, it was a difficult incident to start with a number of challenges that our members overcame, including a resident driving over our LDH and causing the water supply issue to create some creative thinking to overcome. They did some tank transfers and were able to get that reestablished. But although there were 3 adults displaced in that incident, the good news is all of the personal belongings inside the living space of the home, the primary home that was involved, were saved. So that's good news for the residents. And then there was an exposure house as well that they were able to contain the damage there to the exterior wall. Next, Chief Harms mentioned COVID. Back on the Friday the 6th, you received an email that everybody in the district did regarding our COVID update number 13. We've seen a uptick recently, I'm sure, as you've seen the news, in the number of cases. That does not that does include what we're seeing internally within our agency. And so based off of a number of exposures recently, including, I had the number here somewhere, sorry, too many papers. We have tested our own membership since November 3rd, and thank you to Chief Law for putting these together. We've tested a total of 59 of our members due to exposures already this month, and that goes to show you the difference. In the full month of October, we tested 40 members. And so that update came out just to reinforce the best practices. We're taking direction from County Public Health and what we need to do. And it included sometimes a challenging thing through the holiday seasons, the tradition of having families come to the fire stations. It included the information that we want to not be doing that this year. And so that upsetting a little bit, but it continues through this challenge that we're identifying those risks and managing them. We just don't want to take any chances any more than we need to for the members and their families to be exposed. And so, and again, we're regularly entering these environments where we know we're having contacts. We're up to 416 encounters this year for positive COVID tested patients out in the community. So our crews are doing a good job wearing their PPE. They continue to do that. Right now, currently, we have 14 members who are off on quarantine and 3 positive. This is as of 4 o'clock tonight. 3 positive tests and 4 of them are symptomatic. They all continue to undergo the testing criteria that we need to meet, as well as the support that we're reaching out to through labor, as well as management, making sure they have everything they need. And as Chief Harms mentioned, we're in a staffing situation where, based off of some of these exposures, we have seen a few short-term brownouts. So we're evaluating ongoing what our levels of staffing are and working within the membership, and they're doing a great job again coming to work when we call them overall, of making sure that we're able to provide the service delivery to the public. And so overall this year for the entire membership, we're at 20 total positive COVID members, and 17 of those are back to work. So that's good news. Next, I want to say thank you to Chief Shannon in support services, specifically facilities and logistics. Unfortunately, we've had a station currently that's undergoing treatment for bed bugs. It happens sometimes. We're in these environments and these kinds of things occur. Facilities, logistics, and support services in general has been phenomenal every step of the way. So thank you to them. They're doing a number of different industry best practice treatments, including heat treatments. And I wasn't aware of this prior to this incident. However, there is a canine unit that comes out and can help us locate some of those bed bugs if they are there. And so they're continuing to move forward with cleaning the station, replacing floors, doing everything possible to help the members there in that station. And we're getting some good success and look forward to continuing to address any issues they have. But right now we're looking pretty good. And then finally, an update on our EMT to paramedic career development program that's coming out. I know Director Gould attended, I believe it was November 5th, an informational meeting. As we had discussed earlier, we needed a method for our EMTs to be able to upgrade to paramedic if they chose. We currently have a recruitment period that's open. And we are looking forward to that program starting in January. We're addressing a number of the outstanding issues, but it is going to be a valuable program for our folks to be able to go through and upgrade their training level for service delivery from EMT to paramedic. So that's a very, very positive item that we're working on. And I'll leave you with the number of calls since the last meeting. We've had 5,753 calls since the last board meeting. 17 building fires, 8 of those were in our jurisdiction as working fires, 1 with the Sacramento City. And our busiest engine company, as you probably are aware, is Engine 53. And our busiest ambulance since the last meeting with 240 responses was Medic 101. So I'm happy to answer any questions. Other than that, that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Chief. Is there any questions for Chief Mitchell?
Yes, Madam President, this is Gay. And Chief Mitchell, I have a question, and maybe I can take the answer offline. Sure. But as we kind of the personnel that we have that are off because of COVID-19, that's going to be surging and diminishing and surging and diminishing. What are our general policies for how we handle those station brownouts? Is it a geographical, based on call volume?
So great question, Director Jones. I have right here a document that fortunately earlier this year, we sat down understanding that this was coming. We put together an emergency response and staffing plan that operations sat down and discussed with labor about what our criteria were for determining those. We used the statistics of the busiest or the number of call volume and weighing that against geographic locations that have the ability to maintain fire stations being open. Obviously, our dual company or multi-company houses were able to do some things there to help mitigate closing a fire station, which is we want to make sure that the communities continue to get that service. And so we have gone through and did a comprehensive plan on what that looks like, and we'd be happy to get that over to you if you'd like to take a look at it. We'll share that with you.
Thank you very much, Chief. Yes, I would like to see that, just in general purposes. And I knew and I know that we have plans depending on the actual number of folks off, and it would be very informative to have that information. So thanks very much thanks in advance for forwarding that to us.
Absolutely, you bet.
Any other questions or comments? Thanks, Chief Mitchell.
You bet.
All right, moving on to Firefighters Local 522. Is Mr. McGoldrick on the line?
I am. Can you hear me?
We can. Welcome, sir.
Good evening, President Sheets and Board of Directors. I don't have a lot to report tonight. I will piggyback on Chief Harms and Chief Mitchell and congratulate the newly promoted engineers. Also, Academy Class 19-2 is in the process of completing their 12-month evaluations. So good luck with those folks. A lot of them have completed the process successfully, so that's a good thing. I would also like to welcome Chief Farica. He's my new next door neighbor at the office, so that's going to be a good time. That's a lucky seat he's sitting in, I think. That's all I have. I just want to wish everybody a happy and healthy Thanksgiving, unless you have any questions.
Thank you, sir. Any any questions for Mr. McGoldrick? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Moving on to committee and delegate reports. The executive committee, I have nothing to report. We have not met for some time and we did not have a meeting scheduled. Moving on to the communication center, JPA, Chief Shannon.
Thank you, President Sheets. Just a couple of items from the comm center. Kind of looking back at Academy Class 20-1 and 20-2, all the recruits so far are doing wonderful, progressing as they need to be in their probationary period. And next Academy from Chief Wagaman, next Academy with 6 is going to be scheduled to start January 19th. So that is moving forward and everybody's doing well. The comm center will have, it's kind of an operational issue coming up in December. They're going to replace what's called the UPS battery changeout. And that will be a good test for a kind of a communication with all the jurisdictions that are involved in the JPA, making sure we don't lose power and have anything to do interruptions with the call volume and calls being sent out to the crews. So that'll be a big day, December 3rd. Chief Wagaman is preparing and prepared us at the board meeting this week. Moving forward, there will be some changes on the board coming up. Deputy Chief Zender from Consumnes Fire is retiring also next month. So his last meeting was Tuesday. They'll have a new representative on the board representing Consumnes Fire. Myself, obviously, we've talked about that. We'll be retiring next month. Chief Wagaman will be transitioning from the executive director position over to the board chairperson, and will not continue or lose any continuous service, and we'll just keep moving along as needed. And that's the end of the report. Sorry if you hear my phone ringing at my desk. And that's the end of the report for Comm Center.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to California Fire Rescue Training, JPA. Chief Shannon.
Good. Thank you again. We have no report for that for the JPA. We don't have a meeting. It's to be determined. So we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
Thank you, sir. All right, moving on to the Finance and Audit Committee, Director Orzali.
Finance and Audit Committee has not met, and our next meeting is TBA.
All right. Moving on to the Policy Committee, Director Gould.
Surprisingly, the Policy Committee has no report.
All right. Moving on to board members' questions and comments before we move into closed session. We'll start with you, Director White.
Thank you, Madam President. Well, first, I would like to thank Fire Marshal Barsdale for her report this evening. I appreciate the completion rate on those occupancies, and I know that that's quite a few and it can be pretty challenging. Next, I would like to congratulate the newly promoted engineers and wish Battalion Chief Joe Farica well in his new role, and wish the district luck in finding the right person to fill the BC EMS role, the day BC EMS role. And that's my report.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to Director Jones.
Thank you, Madam President. I don't have anything to report formally, but I would like to wish each and every person associated with Metro Fire to have a good, safe, and healthy Thanksgiving.
All right, thank you. Director Clark.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I would like to thank Fire Marshal Barsdale for an excellent presentation. I think that our community risk reduction division is very valuable for Metro Fire. It's prevention is everything. Prevention and maintenance is everything, and it avoids a lot of problems for us along the way. And finally, I want to thank everyone. Have everyone have a happy and safe Thanksgiving. A lot of us are going to have to be very creative this year with our Thanksgiving. With our families being safe. So I wish everyone, like I said, a safe Thanksgiving. That's all I have, Madam Chair. Thank you.
All right, Director Wood.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would just echo the comments made earlier and just wish everyone a happy and safe Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Director Orzali.
Very briefly, I just wanted to commend the Metro staff. Had the opportunity to participate in the Citrus Sites 2x2. The Metro has done a phenomenal job in maintaining those relationships. So I just want you to know, as a citizen of Citrus Sites, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Director Gould.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to echo the comments of my colleagues and also just make everyone aware of the fact that this Thanksgiving I will be losing my pet turkey. There will be a funeral and refreshments will be provided to anyone who shows up.
Oh, goodness. All right, Director Saylor.
Is that Director Saylor's? Me?
Yes.
I'm still laughing about the funeral. I just want to thank everyone for their good presentations tonight and the wonderful job that everyone at Metro is continuing to do in this crazy year, 2020. Everyone is doing a great job adapting and continuing to do their jobs. I just want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving and please stay safe out there. Thank you.
All right, Director Kelly.
Hi, everybody. I wanted to echo the other sentiments that I've heard tonight, and I wanted to express my appreciation for something I saw in the live fire training and the officials of the church that Metro Fire was able to build a relationship with and allow that training to happen. I wanted to express a great deal of appreciation for the forward thinking of the officials of that religious organization and the good deal of goodwill that the relationship we built has provided for the organization. And again, what I consider to be the high performing organization, otherwise known as Metro Fire, has done it again. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you. All right. First of all, I wanted to thank Director Gould for bringing back the Pledge of Allegiance. I think that is such a valuable thing that we can do to honor our veterans. I also wanted to thank all of the veterans that are out there for their sacrifice and service. I wanted to congratulate all of the members on their promotions, and I would also like to wish everybody a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday and have a safe holiday. Stay safe out there. With that, we will move into closed session and we will exit this open session meeting. All right, we will resume to the regular meeting. General Counsel Lavra, can you please report out?
Yes, President Sheets. The board met in closed session to consider the issues related to the industrial disability retirement of Captain Jeremy Horde. No reportable action was taken. The board also met in closed session to consider matters related to the industrial disability retirement of Philip Zydek. No reportable action was taken, and the matters will be called in open session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, moving on to the second action item, industrial disability retirement of Captain Jeremy Horde. Are there any questions from the board members?
Madam Chair, motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a first and a second. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Director Gould.
Aye.
Orzali.
Aye.
Wood.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Sailors.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
White.
Aye.
And Sheets.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Moving on to the third action item, industrial disability retirement, retired Captain Philip Zydek. Are there any questions? Hearing no
Motion
questions.
to approve.
Thank you, sir.
I'll second.
We have a first and a second. Can you please call the roll, Madam Clerk?
Director Gould.
Aye.
Orzali.
Aye.
Wood.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Sailors.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
White.
Aye.
And Sheets.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, with that, we will adjourn. Our next board meeting, which is the last board meeting of 2020, will be on December 10th. And with that, I just wanted to wish everybody on this call a very safe Thanksgiving, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday with your family. Have a
Thank
good
you.
evening.
You have a
Thank you,
nice
Madam Chair.
Thanksgiving.
Thank you.